It having reached the hour of 5:30 p.m., I am calling the June 14th, 2022 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Madrigal.
Just a moment.
Here.
Councilmember Ricky.
Present.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Present.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Here.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Anthony Vargas, the Center Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. God, tonight we thank you for both the opportunity and responsibility that we have to promote a collaborative spirit for the well-being of communities in the city of Modesto. I pray that you would grant our city council wisdom in any decision being made this evening, and that everyone speaking tonight would carry themselves in such a way as to promote a spirit of humility and a collaborative spirit. We thank you, God, for blessing the city of Modesto. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Email correspondence was received for item 11 and forwarded to the council. Also, please remember public comment period is limited to 3 minutes, and we have blue speaker request cards located in our front lobby of our council chambers. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the item 11 that was forwarded to us was received. Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Thank you. Next is acknowledgments and presentations. The first is a presentation of proclamation proclaiming June 19th, 2020 as Juneteenth in the city of Modesto. I will read the proclamation. Abraham Lincoln's executive order to free all slaves became law on January 1st, 1863. Slavery in Texas did not end until more than 2 years later, on June 19, 1865. On this date, troops commanded by General Gordon Granger of the United States Army landed in Galveston, Texas, with the express purpose of freeing the slaves and enforcing Lincoln's order. The anniversary of this day of emancipation is celebrated each year as Juneteenth. This we gratefully do in commemoration of the historic moment in our nation's history in which the shackles of slavery were finally and forever cast off, the day the Emancipation Proclamation was fully manifest throughout the land. Juneteenth is an occasion to reflect on the unimaginable struggles of those who lived under slavery and to commemorate the sacrifices of those who fought to end it. Let us also take this opportunity to celebrate the heritage of our state's African American population and their fantastic contributions to California's vitality and diversity. Today we join with all free men and women in the Golden State and beyond to memorialize Juneteenth as the day when the promise of the pursuit of happiness and the heritage of liberty became the lawful inheritance of all Americans. Now, therefore, I, Sue Zwellen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2022 as Juneteenth and encourage citizens to join the King Kennedy Memorial Board of Directors in the annual Juneteenth celebration. And my understanding is we have Deborah Sullivan-Jones, President of the King Kennedy Board of Directors, here to receive the proclamation. Welcome. If you have a few remarks, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is our 52nd year of celebrating Juneteenth in Modesto, and we want to thank you so much for recognizing us.
We appreciate you being here, and we will come down at this time to take a photo and present the proclamation.
Thank you.
Item 2 is a proclamation recognizing the Society for Disabilities' 75th anniversary, and I will read the proclamation. In 1947, the words disabled or handicapped were seldom used in reference to people and would have been considered extremely peculiar. The amputee, the stroke victim, or the polio patient were considered crippled. It was in this era 75 years ago, in a small California farm town, that a group of people organized to help the crippled. They saw people suffering with the after effects of polio and other disabling conditions, many of whom could not afford all of the medical care that might improve their condition. With humble beginnings, they set out to provide medical equipment, physical therapy, doctor consultations, and eventually even vocational rehabilitation. At that time, there were no federal health plans and no notable government programs to meet those needs. That is why caring local citizens took action. That small farm town was Modesto, and that little local organization was the Society for Crippled Children and Adults. In 1965, Medicare was established to provide medical care for persons with disabilities. Society responded by adapting their loan closet program to bridge the gaps in with the Medicare system, providing medical equipment loans at no charge to the patient. The Society has gone through several name revisions, and aside from a brief affiliation as a local chapter of the Easter Cecile Society, has remained an independent, locally operated, and locally supported organization. Today, the Society operates the largest medical equipment loan closet in Stanislaus County, provides educational and recreational programs, job training services, a special needs fund, and resource and referral services to more than 50,000 residents of Stanislaus County living with disabilities. Now, therefore, the Modesto City Council does hereby congratulate the Society for Disabilities on their 75th anniversary and offers its appreciation for its dedication in enhancing the quality of life of people with disabilities in our community. Accepting is Anna Canbero, the Director of Operations. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. We thank you as we celebrate our 75 years of enhancing the quality of life for people with disabilities. I know that many of you here tonight are not here for this proclamation, but I am happy you are, as it has been our mission to spread awareness for our organization. As Mayor Zwellen said, there are over 50,000 people in Stanislaus County with various disabilities, and our hope is to serve each and every one of them at some point. Our organization, as she said, started off as a very small lending closet treating patients with polio, and today we operate the largest medical loan closet in the entire Central Valley. We also provide the opportunity to adaptively water ski, winter ski, ice skate, ride horses, bowl, play baseball. Soon we will have a golf program and a soccer program. These are activities that most parents never thought their child with a disability would be able to do. However, with the right equipment, volunteers, and our community support, we have learned that it is possible. We also offer sign language classes and are a resource and referral agency to the community. I even brought some resource guides. Only 6, I'm sorry, I didn't know there was gonna be this many people here.
Thank you.
And so we greatly appreciate this proclamation and your help in increasing awareness of the services we provide.
Thank you for all you do, and we will come forward and present the proclamation. All right, next is public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? I have multiple cards here. This is for items that are not on the council agenda, and you each have 3 minutes to speak. I see a hand raised. Okay. All right, please step forward.
Well, here we are again, Madam Mayor. The sidewalks aren't being tended to properly. I came through the month of March, calmly, politely, talking to different people, no incidences. April 1st, Leonard, Lear, Zier, Scroggins, whatever his name is, I can't get the truth from the city to provide me it. They give me 69 days and still not. Anyway, you claim all this handicap stuff and you claim all this citizens and you want to make things better and you're not doing it. When is it that the city council, the city mayor, the city attorney, the HR manager, and all of you guys are afraid to talk to a little old me, handicapped, disabled, you claim so much that you're trying to do for with, but you violate my constitutional rights, civil rights, ADA rights, my property rights, and then you try to arrest me fraudulently, and I had a recording, and that's what saved me from an arrest when he called, and your Mr. Leonard, whoever, called him into the city HR management, risk management office for no reason whatsoever. The officer looked at the video. It was uncalled for. You need to be arrested, whoever's doing this, who's authorizing it and allowing it to happen. It's got to stop. These sidewalks are unsafe. These ramps you're making on them are not ADA requirement safe. They require handrails. None of them have handrails. And not only that, all of these asphalt ramps you're making violate the property owner's property rights because it devalues their property. Mine, I was told, between $15,000 and $20,000. You got at least 2,800 asphalt spots that I took pictures of that are not ADA compliant, and it's wrong. Nobody on the council will return my call. I've text messaged you. You claim, well, you shouldn't be screaming and yelling. This person put his hands on me in the past. I suffer every day because of pain from that fool grabbing me and jerking me out of the way of Mr. Monteith. There was plenty of people to get out. I was out by the steps. There was no need for him to put his hands on me. And including that, he doesn't have authorization. He don't have the police powers to put his hands on anybody. All he can do is call the police. And you guys think that it's okay? It's authorized? Oh, it's permitted? Do this, Mr. Duff. Do that, Mr. Duff. It's wrong. And every one of you took an oath to ensure my rights were upheld. And every one of you have failed. And I ask that you resign or correct the problem. And I ask immediate resignation. Immediately, because you guys are authorizing this to happen, and it needs to stop. And I got told that it came from 3 people under the Joint Powers Act that is on the council, and 3 people that filed a false restraining order with the police department, a 601, 602. You can't restrain me. I'm not breaking the law. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not harming anybody.
Thank you, Mr. Dafford. Thank you.
You guys need to get it right or resign.
All right. Next, we have Maggie Meehan. Welcome, Maggie.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council and Legal Counsel. My name is Maggie Meehan. I live at 4113 Mayfield Drive here in Modesto. And this evening, I am here with the lowrider community of Modesto and other car clubs from Sacramento down to Merced. And we are here to ask the City Council to please sit with us at the table so we can have a discussion on lifting the ban on cruising in Modesto. We'd like to also have this put on the agenda in the very near future. Modesto is the city of graffiti. Modesto is the city of cars. And everyone here tonight is proud of the lowrider cars they have. And you keep talking about wanting the Latino vote. We will give you that Latino vote if you will give us cruising back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Debbie Martinez. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor. Debbie Martinez. I represent community. I represent We Are La Raza Parents Union. You and I, Sue, have some history when you were over with Modesto City School, with the district, when you were the president of their governing board, where I was the one that took them to federal courts. We proved over in federal courts that Modesto City School District was racist, biased, they lacked empathy, and they lacked compassion. I'd like to turn that chapter. I'd like to close that book with you, Mayor. I stand as one. These are the families I was representing at that table at that time. The school to prison pipeline is not for our children. The Comeback Kid program is not for our children. These families like and they enjoy going out. This would be my Sunday cruise, a tar, but on Monday, as a mother, I would be classified as a gang member, and you know that. And I am not a gang member. I am an active community activist. I sit with the Latino Community Roundtable that endorses all of you. I sit with the Stanislaus Governing Board with California Rural Legal Association. That's our council that comes from Oakland and San Francisco. Advocate for Justice. We sat in these chambers trying to get justice for our families. Tonight, Sue, I ask that you have an open mind with the parents, because our children that they have in that school to prison pipeline that I'm diligently working with state and federal to keep them out of. We just ask tonight that you have an open mind at the table, allow us to not only cruise just one time, but give us some sanity, because they've already taken away the Saturdays when they put our children in Saturday school. At least give us Sunday to cruise. Let us USA. Let us come down from all the craziness and all the corruption that's out there in the city that us don't got a voice to. You can be our voice, Sue. We can close Modesto City School Board, because now you sit in a higher chair. You sit as mayor. You sit representing those that I represented. When I used to say I stand as one, I represent many. Here is my many. So I ask that you lift and allow us to cruise. We're good people. I'm not a gang member. You know me. You know I work for free. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Bob Holloway. Welcome.
Madam Mayor and City Council members, thank you very much for allowing us to express our opinions here tonight. I've been cruising for 60 years. We live in Modesto or neighboring cities, the birthplace of American graffiti. We have a statue on the corner commemorating cruising, but we have a cruising ban. That's not good. I've seen it from both sides. 16 years in law enforcement. I've been out there when they had riots on McHenry. I was involved in the enforcement of dispersing everyone. That was right after I spent 4 hours cruising my motorcycle in my car before I had to get my cop suit on and go do that. So that was a unique experience that I don't think anybody in this room has ever had. I've hung out with a lot of these guys. I've been to a lot of their parties, a lot of their cruises. I've never seen any violence. I've never seen any law enforcement problems. The thing that I admire most about everybody that I know in this room, if there's an idiot out there or someone causing a problem, it's dealt with from within. It's It's not a law enforcement problem. I understand that there are concerns with law enforcement about enforcing traffic and all of that. My suggestion would be representatives from the police department communicating with us as a community, not just lowriders, but all of us that are interested in cruising, and see what they expect from us, and see if we can come to some mutual agreement and try to get cruising back to where it's safe for everybody, make it a family event. You know, it's interesting that the birthplace of cruising and we have a ban against it. I think it's all wrong. So thank you very much for listening.
You're welcome. Next is Sebastian Jones.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Y'all know I'm just gonna be me. Well, I think the cruising, they've been punished enough. I didn't know I was gonna be still here talking when you guys put the ban. I'm always down here. I remember it. Well, you had a couple of knuckleheads out there done what they done. And so you put a ban on cruising. Now it's time to lift it. We've been through a pandemic. We was all shut in the house. We dealing with trying to get the economy going. And I feel that the cruising, like the gentleman said, this is where it was born. I was out there, I don't think I missed a day, but I seen most of you guys was in some type of old school car. Y'all was cruising. And y'all was smiling, and that was all good. Because you know where you at. Now, let's lift this now. Now, what I'm trying to say is, they've been punished. Not them. It was youngster knuckleheads throwing bottles or whatever. Then got blood liquor or whatever. Okay. I think they're grown now. So they're gone. These guys been here working on their cars, spending money, and bringing money to Modesto. That's what I'm about. You know, we got some more economy, and restaurants was serving dinner. So let's go and let's do it. Remember, you guys got the key to unlock and open. You can shut it down if it don't work. So it's not gonna hurt to open that door again. Mayor, I still got my 2 extra minutes, right? Because I'm looking at that clock. They never put 5 minutes on there for me. But I'm looking at it. But let's do this. City Council, some of you guys are new. Y'all wasn't here when I was speaking not to shut it down. I'm still here. And hopefully one day I'll be sitting up there. But let's, look at this. Look around you. They're getting older. But they still got that young blood showing off on them old cars. I love it. So let's put this on the calendar and let's go back there and shoot some marbles and let's do what we got to do and bring this back like the fund says, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it. We on national TV. I'm serious. But I think it's a good thing. Especially this town, I came here in 1983. I didn't know they had all this. I was like, Lord Jesus. Then I met the older guy a couple of years ago that started, and I was like, man, he's still kicking it. So I'm quite sure, I don't know if he's here, but he would speak because that's what he did. He rolled. So Mayor, City Council, dig deep in your heart and let's bring it back because you remember you got the key and they know that. So I'm quite sure they're going to tell them other little youngsters, hey, don't mess this up. We've been down for a while. Let's bring out our hot rod. Well, I'm going to close here I forgot to give my name. My name is Sebastian Jones. I'm a community activist. I sit on about 7 boards in this town. I done broke a lot of barriers, and I sit on the Dr. Martin Luther King Committee. I would invite everybody. We're breaking history again. We are bringing in a new Dr. Martin Luther King Park. We're the last big city to have a Dr. Martin Luther King Park. Ain't that something?
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna let it go. Mayor, can we put 5 minutes up there so I can know what I got? Because that's what I'm allowed. I do have a difficult, and hopefully by next month, I should have my laser surgery to correct my speech. So I bless everybody, and bless you, lowriders, and come on and show your face.
Thank you, Sebastian.
On Saturday at 11 o'clock, 601 Martin Luther King Drive.
All right. Next speaker is Betty Santos. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Betty Santos. I live at 3406 Shoemake Avenue out in the Wood Colony area. I was born and raised here all my life. And I've been there when they had the cruising back in the late 70s as a teenager when my brother used to cruise back in the day in his 56 Cadillac. I am a representative from West Coast Customs. We're our car club that our interest is in full customs, which we do give back to our community as well. And this is my family. This is my car family. Okay, I don't know everybody, but I am getting to know everybody. My network grows every year, bigger and bigger. My concern is, like the gentleman said, you have the key to open that. We like, as me, myself, and the rest of the community here, we like to see the cruising come back as well. It's been successful in Sacramento and also in San Jose. But again, I like to see that come back. And if you need to reach out to the car clubs. You know, again, I'm a representative. There's many car club members here that represent, you know, come to a table and we can just speak and say, hey, let's come up with some ideas. Let's come up with some suggestions, what we can do to make it safe and a family-friendly event. It does bring back revenue for our city as well, you know, with the restaurants and businesses. And so, anyways, that's what I like to say. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next, Samantha Nolan. Welcome.
Hello, I'd like to introduce you guys to myself. I'm Samantha Nolan. I'm here to represent 209 Hot Rod Events. I don't know if you guys have heard of us, but we throw events around the 209 area. We do it free, family events, but I'm here to represent myself also as a woman in the car community and the next generation. I'm only 19 years old and I already own my first classic. I also owned one before I was born, but I would just like to say, for me, it's opened up a lot of opportunities to meet new people. It's taught me also how to socialize. I wasn't as social when I was a kid, and I've met so many future friends from this. I've met lifelong friends. Like, it's something that really means a lot to me, and the reason we started 209 Hot Rod Events is when I was 13, I asked my dad, I said, what was cruising when you were a kid? He said, well, let's try and figure this one out. And we started doing our free events around the 209, and our community just grew and blossomed from there. We welcome everyone to our events. We're hot rodders, we're low riders, we're everything. And where we do it is we love the family thing, and we love just being the next generation to bring this to the community. And I love just seeing everyone around here to support this. And I wanted to come. I got off work at 2 o'clock, and I wanted to come and just let you guys hear my voice about how I feel about this, because it's something passionate that me and my dad are about. He would be here, but he had to work. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that's how I feel, and that's where it's coming from my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Reuben Reyna. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Reuben. I'm here to represent my car club, Nuestra Cultura, and I just like to see that this cruising ordinance get lifted. It's something that early 90s, I mean, where a lot of people have grown up, done a lot of stuff, and I just like to see this lifted one day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, John X Mataka. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is John X Mataka, and I'm the president of the Grayson Neighborhood Council. I'm here tonight to support everyone in requesting that the cruising ordinance be lifted. I did a little research on this ordinance, and my understanding was that it was established in March of 1990, and that the reason it was established was because the police department at that time said that there were issues with crime, excessive noise, and pollution. I thought the pollution was a little weird because really pollution hasn't become an issue until way past that. But anyway, those were the reasons why they said that they instituted it. I just want to say that, you know, people have really said everything that needs to be said, but I know that the one in Sacramento was established in 1988, the no cruising ordinance, and it was lifted at the end of March. And so I just want to say that, you know, people that have classic cars, people that have lowriders, you know, they're working people. You're not talking, you don't have a car like that and not work. Come on now. They're working people, they're members of the community, they go to a lot of events, fundraisers. You know, when somebody passes and somebody's having a fundraiser and they want to get people to come and get some dinner and get a few tacos and look at some nice cars, they come, they support it. Somebody has a fundraiser for their school, they come and support it. They've been out to Grayson before when we've had events in the community and supported it. So we're talking about people that love to socialize, love nice cars, and it's a family. It's a family. And, you know, and so I think that there's been a stigma against cruising in this community when that happened. You know, that's been what? We're talking about 32 years ago. A lot of things have changed in Modesto and in the world since 32 years. And like my brother Sebastian said, you know, we're coming off of 2 years of being locked up in our house, okay? And that's taken a toll over everybody, young and old alike. And so this is an activity that is really supports people's well-being, their mental health, socializing, learning how to socialize again. Hell, after 2 years, people have forgot how to socialize. They forgot to tell people, hi, how you doing? You know, so I just think that it's overdue. The ordinance needs to be lifted. And we're talking about, let's break the stigma. These are hardworking people, family people, people that have good values and good morals. And let's get rid of this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Abel Martinez. Welcome.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Abel Martinez. I represent Reuben Car Club Central Valley. I think it's already been, you know, over 30 years we've been punished for this ban. I'm here in support of my Modesto family lowriders. You know, it's time for us to lift this ban. That's what we're here for. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Benicio Cruz. Welcome.
So I had to write it down.
It's all right.
Hello, good day, Council. My name is Benicio Cruz. Cruising, in my eyes, is a form of art and history. Not only are we writing for ourselves, but as we are helping and creating a community for us to enjoy ourselves with music, barbecues, murals, and get-togethers. We're a big family that grew up in Modesto. That wants everyone to get together, to socialize, and, you know, just kick it. Be one with, love one another, really. That's what we're trying to share. Cruising is our culture that we want to show you. We want to express ourselves and be proud of who we are. That's with rims, herds, headlights, and all that stuff, with music as well. Relax with us because that's what we want to do for us to be cool and chill with one another. It's a part of Modesto's history, our history. Without cruising, I wouldn't be alive, really. Supporting our local mechanics, meetups with family and friends, socializing. We've been stuck in this pandemic for around 2 years, you know, we're all falling apart. For me to be talking on the stage is, well, why we're here, to at least cruising, so. Please bring back cruising, please bring back cruising. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Johnny Galindo, welcome.
Good afternoon. So my name is Johnny Galindo. I'm with Resurrection Car Club, and we've been out for a couple years now. Met a lot of people out here, and we just do a lot of stuff for the community. Do barbecues, like the gentleman said before. We had people that passed away, real good friends, and we go out there and we support and help fundraise and all that stuff. So basically, it'd be nice to have it lifted, you know, the cruise. I'm from San Jose, and it's big out there. Been doing it for years. You know, a lot of new guys I've met and everything like that, and we're just here to get it lifted. We're not bad people, we all work. So, you know, it'd be nice to get it lifted, all right?
Thank you.
Okay.
John Page. Hi there.
I'm John Page, and Paula's Car Club, Public Relations Officer. I'd just like to hope you guys would lift the ban. All the car clubs here, we've done a lot of community charity stuff. We've done toy drives, turkey drives for the community, funeral expenses for families that needed it. We've thrown barbecues and stuff and raised money for them. We've done backpack drives over the years with Maggie. We've done a lot of stuff. And the main thing is the lowriders and hot rods are united now. We go to hot rod shows, they come to our car shows. They come to the Impala, you know, magazine car show in Stockton. You see a lot of hot rods out there, you know. So it'd be a nice thing if you guys could lift it. If you need to, I'm pretty sure every person here would be willing to pay $15 for a cruising permit per year. If you guys need the money to help fund the police department, we will pay $15 for a cruising permit to cruise for the entire year, if that would help lift the ban. And we police ourselves. Any trouble or anything like that, we handle our own things. If we have to, we'll call the police to come and handle it if it gets out of hand. But you know, we've done Fun in the Sun for over 25 years, well, 20 years. We used to do it at Bearbrook. We had a barbecue. Police officers would drive by, we'd hand them a barbecue plate. We would feed them. You know, they would come in, they never got called to the park for violence or anything. They would come down, check, we would feed them, and they'd be on their way. And we promised them that we wouldn't have no problem. We did that for 20 years till you guys shut us down. You know, now we're not allowed to have that event anymore. So we gave up on that. You know, but like I said, we don't cause problems. You know, we're not the ones going out there spinning donuts in our cars, because our tires, we'd have to buy tires the next day for our car. You know, you try running 520s, 13-inch, you're going to lose your tires. So that ain't us doing that. We just want to cruise and park and mingle and be happy. So please, lift the ban. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Nasan Sanchez.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We appreciate you guys for opening up the doors and allowing us to speak what we're feeling in our heart. My name is Nathan Sanchez. I'm a City of Ceres resident, but I grew up here in Modesto for the past, I'd rather not say, but I just moved to Ceres about 3 years ago. This says 1940s. This is roughly the era that cruising started and was ordained and recognized. Since the 40s, it's been an uphill battle for it to be accepted, for it to be welcomed with open arms to society. If people on the outside looking in, at times they won't understand the love that we have. The people that you see here behind me, the individuals that were before me speaking, they were speaking of their heart on what cruising is to them. And what John just finished saying, that cruising brings people together. How do I know? Because I see it. It brings down the wall. It brings down the division, regardless of your status, regardless of your social status. It doesn't matter, because we're all coming together for one thing and for what we love. The things of the past, for the classics. There's a respect amongst each other that I know not of in any other realm that I surround myself with. We look at each other regardless of the color, regardless of handicap or not. It doesn't matter if they got a primer bucket with 3 donuts and 1 spoke rim, or they got a showcase vehicle that had to be trailered there. The love is and the respect is mutual. The faces that you see out here, different people from different occupations, construction workers, business owners, attorneys, teachers, professors, and just like myself, a city employee of Modesto. But like I said, repeal this mandate, sit down, have a meeting, take what we're saying into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Alejandro Bravo.
Good evening, Council and Mayor.
Good evening.
Mayor representing Modesto Lowrider community. We are a group of solo riders, car club members from all Modesto, Stanislaus County, basically. We want to repeal this ban. We come together just about every weekend. We never have any problems. We police ourselves. We have a lot of unity, as you can see. Everybody here, in all races, in all types of people, come together and we unite. And I just would ask you to have a meeting with us. If we have to pay, we will pay. And we can come up with some type of registration, some type of awareness that the city is working with us and we work with the police so we can unite as Modesto. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Gilbert. I'm not sure how to say your last name. Welcome.
My name's Gilbert Moya, I'm a resident of Modesto.
Great,
With
welcome.
Baybaum's Car Club. Our club is of cars from 30s, 40s, and 50s. We do a lot of things with the kids, the whole community. Just like to see the ban lifted so that we could start riding around on the weekends and enjoying ourselves. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Elisa Trevino.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to go against all their good conversations, but my name's Elisa Trevino, and I'm the founder of Chicos Car Club. We're an all-female car club. These men, these gentlemen, these women is what helped me form an all-women's car club of unity and empowerment, so thank you, everybody here. I'm here today to ask the City Council to uplift the cruising ordinance. I have been a huge part of the lowrider community, and I have been cruising in Modesto McHenry since I was 15. Cruising has been a big part of my life and all these other people out here as well. Cruising is not a crime, it's a lifestyle. Lowriding is a form of art. It's a way we get to show off our hard work and the love we have in our, in our cars. It's who we are. I think the message of what lowriders are is misunderstood. We're families, we're hard workers, we have good jobs. I'm a real estate agent. We have business owners, construction people. We also, I lost my track here. We are also mentors to our younger generation, and that's what we need to be thinking about, is the mentorship. We are not gangbangers or drug dealers. We, like other people, have good jobs. Our kids were raised cruising. I know mine were. And it's always been a family affair. Us lowriders are a huge part of Modesto community. We do community events for nonprofit organizations. We help small businesses with opening their businesses. And we help the distressed businesses with bringing community and the cars together. We do fundraisers for families in need, whether for a lost or an ill family member. At the end of the day, the lowrider community is one big family. We are teaching the younger generation to want to be part of the lowrider community, yes, to be part of us. Why? Because we're teaching them that having the cars is expensive. You have to get a job, cruise with us, stay off the streets, stay out of the gangs, stay off the drugs, because if you guys realize today, the young generation, that is all they are. Drugs, gangs, everything else, and we need to get rid of that. So at the end of the day, like I was saying, we're asking you to please ban the cruising ordinance, help us help you, not with just us, but with the younger generation, because we really are here to help. And also we're here to show the art out in public and that we're not bad people. We're really good people. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Next, Billy Duarte.
Good evening. I'm here to ask if we can ban the cruising ordinance. We bring our cars out to represent each of us. We each have a story to tell, and we love being out, and there's really nothing to do here in Modesto, honestly. I'm originally from San Jose. Coming out here and meeting new people, keeping our kids with us, and it's actually a culture and an art. And I'm just asking if the committee could at least let us come to the table and discuss this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony Iwana, welcome.
Hello, Council. How may? My name is Anthony Iwana. I am a representative of Chicos Car Club, and I'm here to basically ask if you could lift the cruising ordinance, because it's one thing. It's the lowriding cruising. It basically what made my life about say 75% of my life. It's my dad. He introduced me, and as we kept on going to car shows, kept on cruising, he introduced me to all these people. And one thing I noticed is once he surrounds me of those people, I realize how much of a difference of like the gangs and stuff, and all the other kids that say, oh yeah, I want to be with the gangs and all that, and then compared to the kids that want to be with the lowriders, that they have a completely different mindset compared to those two. So, as all I like to say is the lowrider community is one big family. We always like to help each other and do what we can. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next is Adeline, and I'm not sure how to read the last name also, but welcome. Starts with an E.
Hello, Council. This is Iwana. I've been cruising since the 80s, late 70s to early 80s, all the way through the 90s. But to be honest with you, you know what I mean? It's more about me. It's more about the older cats are through here. It's all about these youngsters coming up. We got to be leading examples. By you holding us down, and not allowing us to do that. And pretty much that's what's happening. You know, we can't bring our cars about. And we're people that go to work just like you. You know, we go to work, we do what we got to do, but yet we build what we build. You may build a house, I build a car. There's differences. But we do it for our kids and our families, you know, and the benefit of it, we gather friends. And I guarantee you, if you had a car, I'd be your friend too. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm just keeping it real, you know. I mean, seriously. I mean, I can talk to anybody in here in this room because that's pretty much how it is. You know what I'm saying? We're a tight-knit family. So, I mean, for someone like yourself that looks on the outside looking in, you'd have to be within. And we're here as a group to let you know that by speaking on how we feel. So hopefully you guys can drop this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mario Gonzalez. Mario Gonzalez. I'll put that one and repeat it again in a few minutes in case Mario comes back. Next is Lisa. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm here on a much different issue. It's a major safety issue that has to do with my son and our community. I've been going up battling against Modesto City Schools. My son is in special education. He's autistic, he's bipolar, he's ADHD, he's intermittent explosive disorder. He has come to a point that he has been a huge danger to himself and others. He has threatened to bring a gun to school to shoot a couple of students, and the school stayed quiet. They refused to report it to anybody. Look at the recent shootings in Texas and other places where people ignored the fact of people being mentally ill and denying them services. As things continued, I have asked them to put him in residential treatment. I have secured a place for him in Utah to help get him the help that he needs so he can get on the right path for the future and keep our campuses and our city safe. He has injured multiple people and has continued to be a threat. He has 2 doctors, a psychiatrist and psychologist he sees routinely, who have stated to the school he needs residential treatment. Nothing else will do. That this is what needs to happen or you're putting others at risk, which has become a huge liability for Modesto City Schools and a huge liability for our city, because what happens if he goes out in our community and does something and you guys are denying the services that he needs? Now, with the IEP process, the way to get him residential is for the school to put it in his IEP, to say that he requires it, and that is what they're refusing to do. The residential treatment facility can't take him without it. He is already approved, and we are just waiting for that to be put into his IEP. The school has continued to fail to document to comply with the American Disabilities Act. They failed to document things of his behaviors, daily behavior logs that need to be in his file for him to get the services that he needs. And they have admitted this in writing to me, that they have done violations against the American Disabilities Act. They also have, in 5 years, he has failed to progress, which means they are not giving him a free and appropriate education. Because if he's failing to progress, the school is failing him. The school is refusing to do anything about it, and that's why I'm bringing it to you. There's a huge safety issue within our community. He needs help, and I'm begging you to find a way for one of you guys to reach out to me and help get my son the services that he needs and keep our community safe.
Put your schools in order.
I do ask that you guys call Modesto City Schools superintendent as well as the board. I have gone on record with the board already, and I ask that you talk to them directly, as well as talk to me as well. And let's get this handled and keep our community safe and get my son the help that he needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sue, you know we stand on our children's constitutional rights. They have a right to enter into a public setting that's safe, secure, and peaceful. Article 1, subsection 28. Well, that's what we're asking, that you do something with Dr. Noguchi. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Michelle Tomlinson.
So when I came here tonight, I came here just as moral support for my friend and her family, and as her advocate throughout the school system. I'm sitting in here and I'm listening to all of these stories from these people and their arts, and they're working. They are taxpayers who paid for these roads that are being paved that they have the right to drive their vehicles on. And they're coming in here and they're being awfully nice by saying, pretty please, can we please look at this ordinance again? I want to ask, you know, if crime was the problem for you all to take it away, what gave you the right to decide to take this away from adults? If there's too much crime preventing adults from having a gathering, give the police more funding, because I support them too. Put more police on our streets. But don't harass those of us in the community who are out here. They're engaging with their children. Parent engagement, parent involvement, and that's key. That's more key than what your schools are running here or over here trying to avoid. These people are engaging with their families and you're shutting it down, and that's wrong. So I did choose to speak tonight, and I'm standing up for everybody and their hobbies. These are adults and they're taxpayers, and I would like for you to really rethink, you know, ordinance on something like this, because it's not right for you guys to make that type of a decision. They're paying their taxes.
Thank you for your comment. Next is Wilbur Salgado.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Council. The wonderful lowrider, plastic car, hot rod community. My name is Wilbur Salgado. I'm a local attorney by day and cruiser at night. I own a business here in Modesto, which is my law office. I'm also the president of the Pistons Car Club, which is a mostly Latino muscle car club. And I've gotten, through cruising, to meet many of the wonderful people here that really are echoing the opinion of the community at large, which is to ban the ordinance altogether, or set up some sort of system, the ticket system, which people have discussed, which I think would be a wonderful idea. Now, I cruised early on in the 90s. I came from a family that loves classic cars and classic pickup trucks. My first vehicle was a 1956 pickup truck. So for me to cruise back in the 90s was exciting. It was a fun time when you'd ask the girl to roll down the window and see if you could talk to her. You guys remember those days. But that all stopped in the late 90s, or probably earlier than that. I remember when it stopped, when the parking lots were full of police officers and motorcycles pulling everybody over. And we were just trying to have a good time. You know, back then I was single. I'm 40 now. I'm still single. There's nothing to do in Modesto. So cruising is vital here. Do we really want Modesto to be known for where Scott Peterson came out of, where we have these horrible news coming out? We have a 2019 article from the Modesto Bee, which quotes, "Modesto celebrates classic cars with the biggest graffiti parade to date." If I remember reading that correctly, we had people from out of state and other counties coming to Modesto for the parade. I believe 1,800 cars registered. I was in that parade. I remember the cars overheated because traffic was nonstop. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah. So, low riding, cruising, hot rodding, muscle car, it's all part of what runs through the veins of Modesto, and you've cut its supply off by continuing to enforce this ordinance. We request that it be removed. Thank you.
Jolene Daly? You know what, Jolene, well, I would like, one of our council members left, so I'm going to suggest that we take like a 5-minute break, just so that she can hear your comments also. 5-minute break.
Mayor, before you take a break, or during your break, please go out there and look at all those beautiful cars parked right behind things.
I need to make a pit stop, no pun intended. 5-minute break for my pit stop.
I wanted one of these, and he got me the last one. Thank you.
If everyone could take their seats, we will begin again. Thank you very much for your attention.
If we could all please sit down, we will continue with the council meeting. If we could all please sit down, we will continue with the council meeting.
All right, next to speak, and I would remind our people online that I see your hands raised, and we will get to you as soon as possible. I currently have 5 more blue cards. Next is Jolene Daly. Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members. I actually came here this evening to support Lisa, the mother who just stood in front of you and told you that her son is a threat to the community. Can you imagine having to stand up in public and say that? So for her, I encourage you, sit down with her, sit down with Modesto City Schools and find out what in the world is going on here. We have this imminent threat, this actual threat. I stood in front of the school board and I explained to them, we have the first threat. That's the first red flag. Are we waiting for the gun to come to campus? It's a very sad situation. And then we have, it just so happens that I come on the same night that they're asking you to change the cruising ordinance, because this is a perceived threat. So I actually need to introduce myself. My name is Jolene Daly. I'm a businesswoman, business owner. I own a business on Coffee Road. I'm actually a mental health provider. And every one of these individuals that stood up here today said, this is for my mental health. This is something that you need to think about. We need to one mother talked about having the young people be involved. This is something that we can do to encourage these people. And the issue that I see in the fact that there's maybe not communication happening is, where's our cultural competence? We talk about that in government, but really, where is our cultural competence? I grew up on the west side of Turlock. I'm gonna rat you guys out. Most of these guys are probably the biggest teddy bears you will ever find. These are not the problem. These are a perceived threat, and we are tying their hands of doing something that they want to do in order to help support themselves in moving forward with coping skills, with everything that a counselor would tell them to do. To keep them off the streets, to keep them out of gangs, to encourage their children to be mechanics, to be artists, to be whatever they want to be, using these cars as that. And then we have an actual threat, a mother standing in front of you today pleading for her child, pleading for this community so that they remain safe. Because she doesn't know what he will do. And we have all seen it happen far too much. So I encourage you to sit down and speak with both of the parent and the community members that want the cruising to return, and find out if we can figure out how to compromise. Because there's no reason we can't do that. As a business owner, my business is right on Coffee Road. I would not mind it in the least. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dr. Teresa Rojas. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I was asked to speak today. Excuse me.
Sorry.
I'm Dr. Teresa Rojas. I'm a professor of English at Modesto Junior College, and I'm also MJC's first professor of ethnic studies. I'm here to speak in favor of lifting Modesto's anti-cruising ordinance. In addition to being a professor, I'm the director of the Latinx Comic Arts Festival. The festival, which takes place over 2 days in March on the campus of Modesto Junior College, is the Central Valley's only celebration of Latino comic arts creators and friends. At capacity, we feature over 60 cartoonists, artists, writers, animators, and comic arts educators. An integral part of the festival is our lowrider exhibit on Saturday. The exhibit, which involves a caravan of majestic vehicles driving into a huge parking lot on West Campus, has grown from a handful of cars in 2019 to more than 80 this past year. I was fortunate to work closely with Nathan and Sonia Sanchez, who organized a memorable, family-friendly event. I'm originally from San Francisco's Mission District, so you could say that cruising culture is part of my DNA. I moved to the Midwest, where I finished school and was fortunate to land here in Modesto for my return to California about 6 years ago. And Modesto, for me, brings together a Midwest sensibility with the city's access to resources and culture. And I don't agree that there's nothing to do in Modesto. We had 14 clubs represented at the festival, and I know there are many, many more. And what these clubs demonstrated is a high level of cooperation and organization, not to mention a deep pride in the artistry and unity in displaying their vehicles for the public. Teaching at MJC and working on the festival has allowed me to reconnect with the absolute best parts of American culture: generational, historical, and artistic memory and community pride. I also want to mention an extraordinarily high level of civic engagement, and I was not expecting this. At any given moment, scroll the social media of these car clubs, as well as individual enthusiasts, and witness extensive efforts to help community members in need. They organize support networks, social gatherings, fundraisers for funeral expenses, medical expenses, donation drives for basic supplies, and much, much more. It's incredible. Organized cruising nights are a huge community, cultural, and economic opportunity for the city of Modesto, and it's time. Lift the ban and work together to honor and highlight cruising as part of a vibrant, historical Modesto culture. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Mario Gonzalez. Mario Gonzalez. Here. Okay. Andrea Cadell. Or Andrea? Welcome.
I gotta say, coming here tonight, I wasn't going to speak. And then after hearing all the heartfelt stories of my brothers and sisters in the lowrider community, my point of contention is the simple fact that we're stereotyped for something that we love to do. My heart goes out to the mothers who spoke tonight about their children. We moved here from the Bay Area a year ago. We moved here during the shutdown. We found an open hearts, open arms, and a sense of community within our brothers and sisters standing behind me. We all represent something we love. We put our passion in what we do, and we do everything with heart. And I gotta say, if you vote for us, you won't regret it. And remember, when everybody's out there low riding, we slow riding, right? We represent community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome. Next is Melanie Baru. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. Some of my fondest memories were being a young Chicana in the 90s, cruising on McHenry. I couldn't drive, and I was with my good friend and her older sister, bumping Debbie Deb, Lookout Weekend. Those were the days. My name is Professor Melanie Baru, and I teach sociology. I'm here to support the lift of the ban. Modesto's roots are known in cruising. We celebrate it every June, but yet criminalize it all the other days, all the other months. Respectfully, that's disingenuous, and it doesn't align. I teach sociology and I teach culture, and I teach students about the different, what is culture, the elements of culture. Then they listen to and watch lowriding videos, and then they're able to apply their knowledge, their new knowledge of culture in lowriding culture, seated on the big screen in the classroom, and they learn so much that it is a culture, that it's part of Chicano culture. They learn so much. And what's interesting is I always learn that they themselves have stereotypes, and they also criminalize the lowrider community until they learn about the community. It demystifies them. They're like, wow, it's really family orientated. Wow, it's really rooted in service and brotherhood and sisterhood, right? We pathologize what we don't know. And it's important to be able to understand culturally, because this is cross-cultural. Overwhelmingly, this board is white. This is part of Chicano culture. And it's really important. You have an opportunity to learn about us. You have the opportunity to make history under your names, under the umbrella of learning cultural literacy rather than cultural illiteracy. This is, again, an opportunity to make history, to become educated, to be supportive, to listen to the people that you all serve, supposed to serve. You all have to understand your role respectfully. These folks are the community. We are the community. And people are coming out and saying, hear us. We give back to the community. We serve the community. We just want to go low and slow. Maybe on a Friday, Saturday, bump some Debbie Deb, right? So you have a great opportunity to be able to really learn about a culture and the elements of culture, to be able to compromise, to be able to make history under your name and under your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Next online we have Flavio.
All righty, can you hear me?
Yes.
Council,
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, council members. Thank you, Mayor. I actually represent the Sacramento Lowrider Commission, and we are here actually, some members there actually, Carlos and Shavala and Israel and Nayeli. And the reality is that lowriding is not a crime. The reality is that the lowrider community has for many years, in Sacramento, the ban was just removed, but it was there for 34 years. For 34 years, a ban was over the Latino community, and when they did this ordinance, they did it to go and to deal with the gang members. The issue is that when they created this ordinance, they netted the Latino community, the lowriding community, the art on four wheels, the community that had been there since the 50s, 60s, 70s, and how many of us know that the lowrider community is a community that is working hard to be able to be integrated all throughout California. This ordinance in '88, what it did was it cast a net over the whole state of California. And yes, Sacramento was the first city to remove this ordinance, but you can be the second city. You can be the historical second city that can remove an ordinance that has been placed over a community that has done nothing wrong but work hard, establish their families. These lowriding communities that are all throughout California do the same thing. It's about the cars. It's about the family. It's about the culture. It's about reaching into our areas where there's youth and involving our families and reaching into our families and not letting them go astray, but helping them to be integrated into what we grew up in, what our culture is. Currently, there is a bill on Monday that was passed, a resolution, ACR 176, the Assembly passed it. And do you know what that resolution is for? It is for the cities in California to work with the police in the city to work with the lowrider community. California is pivoting and changing, and it's reaching into the community of the lowrider community. When these cars come, there is an economic engine that comes with these cars. People celebrate these cars. Businesses want them there because people come and spend and come and enjoy the cars and the culture that we bring. I ask you to repeal to repeal and to remove an ordinance that is over a community, that this community is working hard to establish themselves and to work in the community. Look at the things that they do, from feeding the homeless to doing toy drives to doing scholarships. These car clubs in your city want you to work with them. I ask you to work with the car clubs, repeal the ordinance, and take this ban that is over the community, take away the stain. I ask you this, and I thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next is Ramon Rodriguez.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. As a member of the community, I've been attending graffiti night since 2013 when George Lucas was coming in, and next year it's going to be 15th anniversary of American Graffiti, which George Lucas filmed. And right now I'm asking you all is to remove the ordinance that banned cruising, because honestly, it was a racist tactic that targeted the Latino community. And not only that, but it just shuts all the fun down. And these people put a lot of love, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on their cars. They make it an art of four wheels. And I've heard a lot of stories. And it's not just about cars, it's about community, it's about family, it's about keeping each other's back and helping out. And you know what? I've never seen any lowriders doing crazy burnouts or donuts or anything like that. They're just, these are honest people of all occupations, and all they want to do is have fun and demonstrate their talents to the community, as well as giving their talents to the next generation to keep on with the tradition. And also that lowriding has been a part of California culture since the 50s. Cheek and Chong, they have the lowriders. Everything, all the movies, all the rap music mentioning lowriders, everything, it's part of California, it's part of who we are as a state. And we're known that. Japan, Sweden, all the other world are recognizing lowriders as not just a car scene, but a lifestyle. And it's happening worldwide. Also, banning the cruising ordinance will also reduce, illegals gathering with, with burnouts and sideshows. That will put a stop, and that will let the others to know that there's other ways that they can showcase their cars safely without doing dumb stuff. And this is really hard. I mean, I've been to graffiti a couple of times and see a lot of really beautiful cars, lowriders, hot rods, you name it. Muscle cars, and I take a lot of pictures. And I was there last Friday on the graffiti. I took a lot of pictures of the cars. And that makes me that this is a community that they care about everyone, and they love to show their cars. And they give it back to the community because they care about the community. And all I want to say is, and the ordinance, it's time to put it aside and let cruising be cruising, because we want Modesto to be known as the graffiti capital of the world, and to be part of the car culture that California is well known, because low riding is part of California and everyone in the world knows it. So please do the right thing, lift the ordinance, and make cruising legal in Modesto so people have a right to cruise and showcase their cars. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Bianca Lopez.
Hi, buenas noches. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. I'm here just representing myself and nobody else. I want to make a statement here today. I appreciate all the speakers. I am humbled, and I appreciate everybody for being there for something that they're very passionate about. As an environmental activist, I understand that almost 40% of the air quality issues are due to pollution by transportation. But when we have water issues, residents, people are always focused as the problem, not industry. Why don't we focus on anti-incineration so that we can stop air pollution, right? Why are we asking people to stop watering their lawns or taking shorter showers? Let's limit the crops that use extensive amount of water, like almonds, instead of asking people to use less water when they wash dishes. So this issue is an environmental justice issue for me because air quality affects people of color, low-income people, and this issue really is, it hits home for me and it really confuses me. But I hear what everybody is saying. It's time to stop these racist practices. It's time for you to make good on what these people are asking you to do. I'm a Chicana and I understand everything that these people are saying. I really appreciate a couple comments, all of the comments actually, but one gentleman mentioned a suggestion that you have registration fees to be able to cruise for the year. I'm not sure that $15 is enough. And I don't think that those funds should go to the Modesto Police Department because again, the police department takes almost 80%, if not more, of the budget. And the racist practices as well when we're cruising down the street need to stop, right? And I think the ban can be lifted with some restrictions. So I think it's just time to allow folks that the city can, there's other suggestions. I'm sure all these people are willing to come to the table to make a commitment to make it happen in the most peaceful and in the most environmental safely, in the most way where we can continue to allow people to fundraise, to build community, to show the love for a culture that is not just a white man's activity or love. It's also the love of the Latino people, and it means a lot to folks here in Modesto, and it is true. You can't be a hypocrite, right? And you can't just say, oh, graffiti is only gonna be on this day. I've never been to graffiti nights, or I'm not even sure what you call it. I always saw it as not a people of color thing, but I've never been to it. And now I see here that a lot of people of color here, attend graffiti nights, but I think you should lift the ban and allow people to come up with solutions to be able to do that, to help you be less racist. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next online is Chris Murphy. Welcome.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Thank you. Greetings, Modesto City Council, and all the folks out there. This is an exciting time, and I'm really excited that this thing has actually has come to the City Council. I truly believe that when Modesto crosses cultures, we are a richer city. I've been cruising since the late 79, 80, 81, and those cruises were so much fun. They were pretty organized, they were pretty tame, and it was a great time. But as we've gotten to the last decade and the last 20 years since graffiti's come back, I feel richer when the lowrider community and the customs community get together, and then bringing everyone into the graffiti cruise parade. I think it makes magic, and I believe our city will shine when we start crossing the cultures, bringing the music together, bringing the families together. What I love about the current situation out there, I was at the car show this last weekend, and if you came down to the State Theater for the Boulevard Nights, all the cars that came out for that car show were absolutely amazing. And I thought it was really special, and I thought that these communities work together. The cars are the love, the families, the amount of time and effort and love put into these cars is just beyond belief. And at McHenry Village this last weekend, there was a family that their guy's name was Till, and his dad had this really cool, mid-40s, and then he had a cool wagon, and his kids were getting involved with the bikes. And so the entire family was involved, and that is a perfect blend to what Graffiti USA is, the Graffiti Museum. And as the representative of the Graffiti Museum, I feel that we need to embrace the lowrider and the customs culture, because I truly believe that's where it's going. The rockabilly, the music, the fun, the families. I think it isn't exclusive to anyone. I think it's inclusive to everyone. And I truly believe we have an opportunity to truly do something special. And I would encourage, of all places, Modesto, USA, cruising should not be illegal. And I don't think anyone's saying that we should bring back the giant cruises of the early 90s. But there's a way to do this where it's fun, it's recreational, you can have a good time, and people celebrate our car culture. And I think it's a big opportunity for Modesto. So I'd encourage you to take a look at it. I'm happy to be part of a study group. And I want to commend all the folks, all the Impalas and all the folks that came out to do this today. and to stand up for what you believe in and what can be positive. Some of the speakers said here tonight that there's not much to do here in town, but there is. There's music, there's performing arts, there's cars, there's art. And if we build on this as a combined culture, we all win. And so I really appreciate any opportunity we can to rescind the cruising ordinance. Let's take these signs down. Let's be proud of our car culture and celebrate each and every one of the people that come out. I really think we can do it, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next is Roberta Kincaid. Okay, no problem. Just step up to the microphone. Each person has 3 minutes.
Okay, sorry. I personally would like to address the homelessness of the community. We've got like 3 different kinds of homeless. You've got the mental health, you got the drug addicted, and you got the people that work. I'm one of the ones that work and I'm homeless. I've lived in my RV, and I just got a citation about my RV being looked abandoned. Gas prices are over $6 a gallon. Can't really afford to drive it everywhere or move it often. And, you know, I got into a situation a couple of years ago, had a pit bull, wasn't willing to give up my dog to move into a place where people are not allowing pit bulls and dogs of their nature to live in an apartment or a house or wherever. So I just want to address that, and I'd like to find out where we can park. Like, I'm on a residential street, luckily nobody bothers me, but you know, you got the homeless people that leave their garbage out there, and they're typically disgusting. They go to the parks and use their bathrooms, and they leave them with all their crap all aside. Even at the, what is it, donation centers, the one down on Sis, you know, the homeless people go through all their clothes and everything and just trash everything. You know, there are certain types, there are 3 different kinds of homeless people, and I really think that we need to address, you know, the affordable housing for the people that couldn't afford. Okay, so like I don't work anymore. I hurt my shoulder. I worked at Amazon for 4 years, and like I said, I had my pit bull dog. I wasn't giving her up. I just recently put her down, but I got me another pit, and I will not give up the dog. And also inside the animal shelters, you got German Shepherds, you've got Huskies, you've got Dobermans, you've got all breeds that people don't want to rent you anymore because you've got certain types of dogs, and I don't think it's fair. You know, and now the shelters are overcrowding, and basically that's what I want to address today.
All right, thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
Kimberly Alston.
My brother has cancer, so I'm standing in solidarity with him. Greetings to everybody. Greetings to everyone. You guys look beautiful tonight. I too am with Robin in concerns with the affordable housing. There's just no affordable housing here in Modesto. There's no housing. There's just nowhere to rent. And some of us have been able to afford to buy trailers. And they're legal, they're registered, and they're not shabby. We happen to live in some really decent ones. It's frustrating that we have to move every 2 days, every 2 days, every 2 days. We really have nowhere to go. And what I was wanting to address, if there is somewhere there that is safe, that can be monitored for those of us who are registered, have insurance. I'm fully insured on my truck and my trailer. It's a decent trailer. It's trailer, excuse me. It's vintage, and for people who have the proper registrations and licensings for these trailers, if there is somewhere that we could park, even if we had to pay, because there's nowhere for us to go that's safe. And some of us are single women, and yes, we have dogs because we're out here, like myself, I'm alone in a trailer. and they've already broke in. I've had to put a deadbolt on there, you know, so if there is some place the city can designate for people who have trailers, there's no room in trailer parks, so we've already looked for rentals in those areas. They're all full. There's just really nowhere to go. And so if the city council can consider those people who are legitimate, who are legal, and they don't look like, you know, and they're hanging out, that we can have a place and that we can keep decent and that we can be held accountable for, for us people in trailers. And that's kind of like what I wanted to address.
Right, thank you. Thank you for your comments. I do not see anyone else online, and I currently do not have any blue cards, so I just want to make 3 brief comments. We have another comment. Jeremiah?
Good evening. Members of the council, Jeremiah Williams, past Lieutenant Governor for Kiwanis, 2009-2010, where we oversaw 14 of our clubs. I wanted to stop in today and say thank you to all of those who came to the parade and the car show. I've been a part of Kiwanis for 22 years, and of course the city helped us in some capacity, but I do want to note that there were 200 volunteers to make that happen. There was police officers, there were CHP, there were private security, along with 70 to 80 of our members who put that together this weekend. I know that you all are asking for something today. Whether that comes to fruition or not, I'm not sure, but I am thankful that you all did come last weekend, even under the heat. And it was a great time, and we are happy to the money that we receive. 100% of that goes back to the community. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Briefly, I wanted to make just a few brief comments. I heard 3 themes tonight, and all of us council members are willing to meet with anyone. That's what we do all day, every day. I'll receive an email asking to meet, and we are happy to do that. So I've heard several comments about wanting to make that contact so that we could talk about further possibilities. So please reach out to any of us, and we would love to talk with you further. Another topic was about a child in crisis, and I am willing to meet at any time with anyone to talk about their children or their families or whatever the needs are in the community. There again, we just have to reach out, and I'm happy to make that happen. Regarding homeless safe parking, we have some initiatives coming forward, and if you are interested in learning more about that and where we stand currently with that, if you would please give your information to either Allison or Scotty, and they are our deputy city managers, and this is what we do here together all day, every day, and that's why we're here. So I encourage you to reach out. So at this time, is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under the public comment period? All right, we will move on to our next agenda item, which is consent items.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Just Tony here. Just wanted to thank all the speakers for showing up tonight and speaking, advocating for this, for your issue.
Yeah, don't leave now.
I just wanted to ask you, please come back for the next meeting and the next meeting and the next meeting after that to keep advocating for your issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Next on the agenda is consent items. Any item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. I'll wait for a few minutes. All right, is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? All right. Is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comments? Seeing none, will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 3, consider approving the minutes from the June 7th council meeting. Item number 4, consider approving a resolution continuing to authorize remote teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. Item number 5, consider approving a second amendment to extend the completion date to December 31st, 2022 for the Construction Zone Enhanced Enforcement Program Agreement with the State of California Department of Highway Patrol for the State Route 132 West Freeway Expressway Phase 1 project. Item number 6, consider approving a first amendment with Ferguson Waterworks for the purchase of circle clamps, gaskets, pipe couplings, tapping sleeves, and sewer materials for a revised estimated annual amount of $340,000 to $575,000 and a total revised amount not to exceed $1,700,000 to $2,405,000 over 5 years. Item number 7, consider approving the award of bid and agreement for the furnishings of PPE cleaning, inspection, and repair services to Scott's PPE Recon from Lodi for the Modesto Police Department, for the Modesto Fire Department, for a 2-year agreement with 3 one-year extension options for an estimated annual amount of $50,000 and a total amount not to exceed $250,000 over 5 years. Item number 8, consider approving the award of proposal and agreement for workers' compensation claims management services to Athens Administrators, Inc. from Concord, California for a 2-year agreement with 3 one-year extension options for an estimated annual amount of $480,430 and a total amount not to exceed $2,511,820 over 5 years. Item number 9, consider rejecting all bids received for requests for bids for bid number 212223 for building intrusion alarm services and authorizing staff to reevaluate and reissue at a future date. Item number 10, consider approving a third amendment to the agreement with eBuilder, Inc. from Plantation, Florida for a 1-year extension for construction management software for an amount not to exceed $79,013 for system maintenance, support, and licensing.
Motion to approve all consent items.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutier-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Thank you very much. Do any of the council members have any comments and reports?
I do, Mayor.
All right, Vice Mayor Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm unhappy that all the cruisers left. I was hoping that they would stick around and hear our comments. So I think there's a couple of them here. Maybe they can relay it. Back in 1974, I remember cruising down McHenry, and that's where I met my wife in front of Deluxe Cleaners. So cruising is something I grew up with in Salinas. And also when I lived down in Southern California, it was a great time. So we've heard you tonight, and it's something that I think we'll probably look into down the road and see what we can do of getting together with the clubs. I'm open to that. I just want to thank everybody this past weekend. We had a great Friday night cruise. It was warm, but God gave us a little bit of a breeze, which helped cool us off, and I think it went really well. And then Saturday was all the car shows at the MJC. It was a great, great time for Modesto. And I just appreciate the Kiwanis and our city staff and our police department did a great job. Crowds were, actually we had good crowds out there for us Friday night considering the heat. So it was a fun time. I had a great time and I was worn out by the end of the evening. But thanks everybody for putting on a great, great event.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Ricky?
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to also echo Councilmember Wright's sentiments here. I just really want to thank the members of the cruising and lowrider community for coming out and talking to us tonight about how they want to see the future of our community look. And I've always felt like graffiti is kind of like an untapped pool of oil that sits underneath the city of Modesto, and we have to decide if we want to tap that culture and that liquid gold essentially that is our heritage, and decide if we want to make it part of our community and part of who we are. And it's frustrating for me, when graffiti had problems, the city of Modesto, we didn't try to fix it. We just canceled it and banned it. And I just think that's the wrong way to approach these kind of issues. I'm hopeful that we can work with the local car clubs and our neighborhoods, because I do have concerns. I've gotten multiple emails from neighbors in my district about cruising. But that doesn't mean that we can't find solutions and work together to make this kind of thing happen. So my goal is to make our community opening and welcoming to everyone, and I think that's possible. I also want to mention that I'm super proud of our city staff right now and the hard work they did on safe parking. That initiative passed Safety and Communities last night. I especially want to just thank them for the hard work they did, all the research, plus the relationships that they built with multiple potential partners to try to make it happen. This was really hard, and they did it in a relatively quick turnaround, and it's going to help our community a lot. I have a lot of pride in the work that they did. And for those of you that talk to us that are in RVs and trailers, I'm hopeful that we can find some solutions for you guys as well. Thanks.
Sure. Councilmember Canoyer.
Yes, I just want to say that I really enjoyed the parade and being in the parade. Fortunately, did not turn out, it didn't seem to me as hot as it had planned on, but I had a really good time. It's always fun seeing the number of people. Not quite as many as years before because of the heat, but really quite a few. And it was really enjoyable. And I just wanted to thank everybody who came out to enjoy the parade and to enjoy it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I want to acknowledge that Councilmember Canoyer was the Grand Marshal of the parade this year.
And she have a star on the Walk of Fame.
That's correct. She's also one of the legends of the Walk of Fame. There you go. All right. Any other council members that have?
I would.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor. This was a lovely showing of community that came and spoke to us, and I love the fact that they were with family, and many of them spoke just to their heart. And I indeed do see an opportunity for conversation, for discussion, for progress on this issue that so many are impassioned for. So I look forward and support a community conversation, so what this might look like moving forward. I do see this as a lovely opportunity, and it's not only to highlight an activity and recreation in Modesto, but to, as some of the public members said, just enhance and improve cultural understanding and appreciation. And it does make sense that the town that founded graffiti have an activity that enhances that entertainment, which is cruising. So I look forward to having that conversation. But another very important thing that I want to talk about, and that is encourage the public to just be very cognizant with this, the summer being in here in front of us, and we had some recently hot days. The safety of swimming and the unfortunate consequence sometimes, which is drowning. 50% of our children, that is the number one way that children die, is in drowning, in particular with minority children. And that is just a horrible statistic. And what brought this to light to me is I've just been reading, when I wake up in the morning, I read on my electronic news, and just drownings everywhere. So both in our rivers, in our lakes, in our streams, please be cognizant of wearing safety vests. Please be cognizant of the need to know how to swim. And please be cognizant to being very vigilant with your children around the water. And then at home with jacuzzis and pools, also there's a lot of dangers there. So I know that the city website has a lot of resources in this area. I encourage those wanting to learn how to swim to go to our city website. Also, the Red Cross, redcross.com has information both in Spanish and English where you can improve your swimming skills and have a better understanding of water safety. Highly encourage everyone to look into that and share that information with others. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next is city manager comments and reports. Does the city manager have any comments, reports? All right. Next is item 11, hearings. A hearing to consider approving the annual rate adjustment to the maximum rate schedule for implementation of Senate Bill SB 1383, provisions in solid waste collection service contractual agreements provided by solid waste haulers for an increase of $8.40 per month for residential services, an increase of $9.95 per cubic yard for commercial services, and an increase of $8.05 per pole for industrial services to become effective July 1st, 2022, and an increase of $5.40 per month for residential services, an increase of 25 cents per cart recycling organics for commercial services to become effective January 1st, 2023, and rescinding resolution number 2021-217 and increasing the fuel rates by 33 cents for residential and 47 cents for commercial to become effective on July 1st, 2022, and rescinding resolution number 2021-217. And welcome, Mr. Sandhu.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Bill Sandhu, Public Works Director. With me today is Rosie Anselmo. She's our Integrated Waste Planning Manager. And also joining us remotely is Clara Wilson from R3 Consulting. So SB 13.3, a little bit about SB 13.3. It's an unfunded state mandate, and that requires all solid waste generators, which is in municipalities, in this case the City of Modesto, provide all organic waste recycling services. And so it is required, it's mandate. So not meeting this mandate, the financial penalties could be up to $10,000 a day, going back to its first effective date that was effective in January of 2022. So what is some of the facts about SB 1383? What's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is to reduce short-lived climate pollutants such as black carbon, fluoride gases, and the methane gases. And some of other facts about landfills are, the landfills are third largest source of methane gas in California. And the landfills also emit 20% of state's methane gas. And this gas is even more potent than carbon dioxide. So also it requires, SB 1383 requires that to reduce organic waste by 75% by 2025 and reduce at least 20% of currently disposed surplus edible food by 2025. So those are kind of a couple of requirements for SB 1383. And some of the elements of SB 1383. So these are the major elements, 8 elements of SB 1383. Starts with the collection services. This is at the source. That's how the trash is collected from resident or a business. In some cases, the businesses may not be able to meet some of these requirements. They may get some waivers also. And route reviews, this will be ongoing part of SB 1383. We route review the code enforcement officers going through the cans to make sure all the materials are in appropriate can and they're not mixed in the wrong can. And the biggest part of this mandate is education and outreach. So education will be ongoing and big part. Enforcement and inspections is also a major part of it. Procurement. So procurement, this SB 1383 requires some of the paper products that the agencies, the municipalities purchase have to have some certain recycled contents in those paper products. Also, it requires agencies to procure compost material for their use. Edible food recovery reporting and reporting to state calorie cycle is also an ongoing requirement of SB 1383. So a little bit on timeline here. Council authorized by Resolution 2021-227 for us to hire a consultant, for the staff to hire a consultant. We hired R3 Consulting for us to provide their expertise and develop alternatives for implementation. And then also some changes were made to municipal code. And also this went into, this SB 1383 went into effect on January 1st, 2022, this year. But there was another Senate bill, 619, and we took advantage of it. Staff really worked hard to apply for an exemption. So that kind of basically extended the implementation as long as we were working on the plan, and it extended for us by 1 year. So the new implementation date for us will start in January 2023. So again, by 2025, 75 reduction in organic disposals, 20% increase in edible food recovery. That's by 2025. So during the development of options, we use all means of public outreach. We try to reach out to all our residents and businesses by any means that we had available. Social media was big. You see some of these sites: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Nextdoor, LinkedIn we used to reach out to public. And on the right side, you see the material that was used to reach out the public to get their input in development of their options. Also, public participation included press release sent to over 800 subscribers. Text, email, and other platforms were used for that. And also, city's homepage, city's webpage had this real-time information. You can see on the right side and the pictures of the information that was made available. Also, another biggest thing was utility billing inserts. We mailed to about 69,000, and those inserts to 69,000 and 69,000 utility bills. We also use community investor program to reach out to residents and businesses. Stanislaus Green Team presentations, the staff made presentations to Green Team, and also farmers market. That's on, I believe, on IEN 15th or 16th. The staff had a booth there and passed out a lot of this information, handed over a lot of information. So as a result of consultant report and also community outreach, we developed 4 options. The option A was basically two can system. Then option B, C, and D were 3 can system with different variations and the frequency. Option B was basically 3 can system black for the garbage, green for organics, and generally speaking, and blue for recycling. Black garbage being picked weekly, and other two being picked bi-weekly. And so the option C was the different option there. That had, option C has your black can picked weekly, and organic, which is green, being picked bi-weekly. And so that was, and option D was being picked weekly all cans. So results are on the left side. You can see there were 872 responses we received on that survey after all that public outreach, and 75% of our respondents preferred 3-can system, and 25% of respondents preferred 2-can system. And again, so then there were sub-questions on 3-can system. So 54% residents or the respondents picked option B, which is black can, garbage can being picked weekly, other two, green and blue, being picked bi-weekly. So what are the other cities doing? We also, staff also reached out to other cities to see what they're doing with the implementation, what's their approach. And out of 59 cities that staff reached, 78% of the cities are complying with and implementing 3-can systems. And 22% of those cities that we contacted still have either 1 or 2-can system. So how do we compare our survey results compare with other cities? You can see on the left it's for Modesto, 872 respondents there in the survey. 75% picked or preferred 3-can system, and 25% preferred 2-can system. And it's very, very, you can see on the right side, that is those 59 cities or the agencies contacted. That's where 78% of those municipalities are implementing 3-can systems. So you can see our respondents were pretty much in line with the state by implementation. So the rates, today we're recommending option B, which is black container being picked weekly and green and blue being picked bi-weekly. And the rates are 2 types of rate increases with this. Number one, contractual rate increase. We have contract with 2 haulers, Jilton and Berlotti. And for our contract, we review their audited financials, and based upon the lowest cost hauler, we propose the maximum rate that the council adopts it. And so as part of, because of inflation and everything else, the rate increase is substantial. As a base rate increase is $3.60. And then the fuel rate adjustment, our agreements require quarterly fuel adjustments. So that's about good 12-13%, good chunk of rate increases also as part of our contractual agreement with the haulers. And then also there's SB 1383 related fees are, that makes total rate increase about $8.40 effective July 2022. So just a little bit more to add to it. We, as a staff, tried everything working with the state. Number one, we got extension for 1 year at least, so that we can study all the options, and then that the impact could be a little bit less on ratepayers or the bill payers. So we try to phase everything we can. So we phase the rates into 2 categories. One that must go in, that are going to contractual and SB related, SB 1383 related fees, that goes into effect after council adopts it on July 1st. So that will be $8.40. And then the second rate increase is if council adopts this 3-can system, So residents will most likely get, and the businesses will get third can in December, late this year. And they will be picked. They will start picking those cans. The haulers will start picking those cans in January 2023. So that's when that rate will go into effect. So that's why that rate is for $5.40. That goes into effect in January. So again, just want to make it clear that there will not be any change that residents will see at the front end. With the third can, they will get third can in December, and haulers will start picking in January. So the total rate increase in July and January, it will be about 36.85% for residents. So how do we compare as in Modesto with the other cities? So that's another, we wanted to explore that data also. So keep in mind, some of these cities still are in process of implementing their SB 1383, so their rates may be without SB 1383 fees. So Modesto, with option B, that's one being proposed today, recommended today, will compare but will be in line with Stockton, Sacramento, Merced, and some parts of the county also. And then other parts, of the state, like Gilroy, Santa Clara, and Lodi, will be higher than Modesto. So that's how, if option B is approved, that's how we will compare with statewide. So commercial rates, and you see the commercial rates has a little bit less impact. I think increases in a range of 18%, not 36%. Because a couple of things go on there. Number one, they don't generate that many organics, and so that's why some of the cans will be options for them. So you can see their rate increase, total increase is $9.95. It goes from $54.09 to $64.04. But also starting on January 1st, 2023, the customers who do not qualify, or these are the business customers who do not qualify for waivers, will need to either have either organic and or recycling cart service at additional cost for $25 per month, one pickup per week. So that will be business by business basis, because if they qualify for a waiver, they will not have to have many changes, but if they don't, then they have to have changes. So what other things we're doing to reduce the impact of rate increase? We looked at everything. So one of the options that's available for residents, senior and low income residents, there is a senior and low income discount. That is about $35 off entire monthly utility bill. That's the water and the garbage. That program is funded with water and the garbage. But the second part also, service sharing. If a resident feels that they don't generate enough garbage, they can share the service with their neighbor also. But a contract is required that we can provide that paperwork to those neighbors. The contract is between those two neighbors. So only one neighbor will get the cans. They can share the cans. Only one neighbor has to pay for it for their contract. So that's another option available for residents. For businesses, waiver process, we expect a lot of businesses to qualify under waiver process, either space restrictions or other restrictions. So some of the options that we will also, rather than just only offering the big dumpster, we will also be offering the smaller 96-gallon can also. So there is another de minimis waiver for businesses. Those are businesses that do not produce large amount of organic waste. They can apply for that waiver. And the service sharing is also available for waivers for businesses, for qualifying with businesses. So those are the rate reduction discount options available to both residents and businesses. So some of the next steps, this is just the beginning, and there's a lot of work that need to be done, and it's ongoing. So Muni Code, our municipal code, needs to be amended to include some of the changes. Then some of the education enforcement material need to be produced and updated. And then, of course, because it also requires procurement of a compost facility, we'll need some improvements. We'll do a feasibility study and bring it back to the council. So some of the other next steps there, that's how we propose to do a lot of education, outreach, and public engagement in person, digital engagement, brochures, surveys, conduct surveys, and of course, at the end of the day, there need to be good communication with customers and good customer service. So also, so when you have a 3 cans, sometimes it's very confusing what goes in each can. So there is a lot of material. There's some of the examples that will go on the lid of the can. So the customers who already have the cans, they will start with either stickers or the plan is to have that engraved in the lid on the can itself, on the material both in English and Spanish. And so that part, in the beginning they may get stickers, but as the cans are being replaced, as the lids are being replaced, our preference will be engraved into the cans in both English and Spanish. Also, calendars, magnetic calendars that for their collection days that will identify this week it's either green can or blue can. So that magnetic calendars is another way of communicating with customers. And of course, a route review involves going through the code enforcement officers or technicians go through, check the counts for appropriate material. First step is always a warning and education. Then the second step is always enforcement. So at the end, I just like to say, we have been working on this and very hard, worked with the haulers also and consultant, and applied for 619, got the exception, one year extension. So at the end of the day, this is this unfunded state mandate, and there are impacts to the rates, and we tried everything that we can to reduce the impact on the ratepayers. So we have two resolutions before you today. Mayor read them, and we recommend approval of both resolutions. With that, we will be happy to answer any questions.
All right, we'll begin with any questions from council members. Vice Mayor Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Bill, for your presentation. I know this is, there's been a lot of work putting this together with your staff and also with council members talking about it. One of my concerns is the organic waste is going to be picked up every 2 weeks. And there is some concern about smell, flies, with food rotting and this type of thing. So there is some recycled bags that can be used for organics. Are we going to be able to send that information out to our residents to let them know, if you have food, you can put it in a certain type of bag, seal it up, and put it into your organic waste?
That's a great question, Council Member. Sorry, I forgot to mention something. Thanks for reminding me that. So we're calling this as a one-year pilot project. Those some of the concerns you brought up. So after a year of implementation, we will collect the data from all, we'll do the surveys again. collect the data, and bring it back to council. So the bi-weekly pickup, if that causes any issues, then council will have an opportunity to go back to weekly pickup on green can. So sorry, I forgot to mention. So we're calling this as a pilot project for 1 year. Then we'll bring the data back after a year. That is your question, absolutely. There will be information about it.
And I would recommend, and I think I mentioned this to you before about doing a video. I think it's, a lot of times people they can read something, but they misinterpret, but a video will really help. If we could put a video together on what goes in what cans, so that we can get on social media, and, every month or a couple months, put it back out on social media, and it'll give our residents a little bit more information, and it'd be less confusing, because it's confusing to me. It's going to take a little while to figure out what goes in what cans, but a lot of times a video will really help answer those questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I have a couple questions. So are there bags for recycling? I didn't hear the answer.
Compostable bags?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we will accept them on case-by-case basis.
All right. Then another question I had on the senior and low-income discounts, is that, it's on one of the slides, discount of $35 off entire monthly utility bill. Is that, is there a discount for seniors or low-income seniors?
It's discount for low-income families and the seniors.
Okay.
And that's $35 off on water and garbage bill, so total 35.
Okay. What is the age?
Age, we have to check on the age.
Okay.
So, but it's related to income for seniors. It's not all seniors. They have to fall under a certain income. Am I correct for seniors?
I believe so, but we will check on that.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
need some clarification there.
Yeah, I'd
No
appreciate
problem.
that.
We'd all qualify for a discount if they're
Well, yeah.
Currently, there are about over 2,300 residents or the families signed up for that.
Yeah, I think it's an income base for seniors. They have to
Seniors, too.
fall under a certain income. But if you can get back to the council, that'd be great. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, any other questions from council members?
I do have.
All right, Councilmember Escudilla-Brayton.
Thank you. Rosine, what did you mean by you'll accept recycling bags on a case by case? What did you mean by that?
The compostable bags right now, if a resident would like to use a compostable bag to put their organics or food waste in it, they have to contact the city so we can keep track of who's using those bags. Because for the haulers, sometimes it becomes really hard to identify between plastic bag and compostable bags.
Are they not distinguishable per color? I know my recycling bags are blue.
So,
Well,
Council-
oh, sorry, go ahead, Bill.
So there will be opportunity for us to list compostable bags on the website. Okay, here's what our haulers, we will work with that. So I think that's the opportunity that we will still have to explore and list there what type of compostable bag we're looking for or that our haulers can process.
Yeah, I think this is an area for further opportunity for research and clarification and communication with our community on what to use, if any, bags. And I think the video vignettes is a great idea. That's a really good way of learning the process. Silly question, are recyclable bottles or just containers, must they be rinsed and cleaned before being put in the recycling bin, or not necessary?
They have to be clean, but because of water shortages, we're coming up with ways on educating residents on how to clean without using water. So
Oh, that would be
considering
interesting.
that too.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Any other questions from council members? Seeing none, I'll now open the public hearing. I have 3 blue cards on this topic, and then I see a hand raised online. So we'll start with Caitlin Bell Espinosa. Welcome.
How are you?
Good.
Good evening, council members and Mayor Zawalin. My name is Caitlin Bell Espinoza, and I'm a homeowner, resident, mother, and active participant in all things community. I am here today to bring forth a grievance, not only on my own behalf, but on the behalf of many citizens of the city. The City of Modesto is getting ready to implement their SB 1383 compliant garbage service. However, there is something that is amiss in this proposed SB collection program. That is the general well-being of the city and its residents. There are 71,113 households within the City of Modesto, according to the U.S. Census Bureau and the 2020 census. That's a lot of households. Interestingly, when the city conducted the survey that aided in the decision of what the city would do for the collection service, a total of 872 responses were received, and of those 872, only 843 were actually submitted by residents. That is less than 1.2% of households within the city. Some might ask, why is this an issue if people chose not to respond to the survey? Well, the surveys were not unbiased, as the survey itself was conducted via social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Nextdoor, and LinkedIn. Does everyone have one of these platforms or access to one of these platforms? Well, maybe. If I had to guess, I would say about 70 to 75% of people do. But how many people actually follow the City of Modesto? I know that I personally do not have the City of Modesto on my social media, so unfortunately, I missed out on taking that survey. My question to you is, if we truly wanted the public's response and input on collection service, why were other methods of contact not utilized? Why was the survey not in the city beat, which according to the City of Modesto is the City of Modesto's monthly newsletter to its residents? You'll find everything from events and announcements to coupons and job openings. It seems that this is a perfect platform for advertisement. But before you say most people are paperless, then why not use the Go Modesto app to announce the survey? If it could have been added as a separate button, a scrolling bar, anything. You could have even added it to emails that individuals receive, letting them know that their bill has been paid. The point is, the method in which the city chose to disseminate the survey did not give access to all individuals or families with vested interest. Setting the survey aside and looking at the service itself, the biweekly pickup of organic materials is not realistic for many of the individuals or families that live in the city. Have you not taken into consideration families with 5+ people? I live with my husband and 3 children, and both our black and green cans are filled weekly. And this, might I mention, is what, with current sorting of organics, cardboard recyclables, which we take out on our own, and so they don't end up in the landfill, and then standard refuse. So if you take what some would call a stereotypical nuclear family, and then look at what today's society actually is, you are going to see that most families or households don't fit into that mold. In fact, many houses have multiple families living in them due to the rising costs of everyday life. Ultimately, what we need to do is take a look at what we're providing for our citizens or what we're not. So just to show you what we will be facing on a far larger scale, I have brought with me less than a day's worth of organic waste from my home. I placed it in a bag and left it inside my house for 2 days. On the second day, the bag was ready to implode due to the methane gases that are released by the decomposition process. Once this began, I released the gases from the bag and moved it outdoors, where it has sat for the last 9 days, 11 days total in the process. To date, there are bugs of who knows what sorts within the bag. The odor, the look of the materials is just, for lack of a better word, disgusting. 11 days, this is what it looks like, and you're asking me to go 14 with a 90-gallon can that cannot be sealed airtight or watertight. Maybe you should think again. So, for your reference, this is what it looks like after 11 days. And I don't know if you can see it, but it is foul. And you want every neighborhood in the city to have 14 days worth of organic material sitting on the sidewalk? This is not just hazardous to our health. We need to reconsider. So I ask you today to please reconsider before you vote for what is set forth by the Solid Waste Division here. Please reconsider and think about our environment, our community, our children, our families. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Janice McClendon.
Good evening, council members and Mayor Zawalin. My name is Janice McClendon, and I reside at 2928 Merle Avenue. SB 1383 was created to reduce methane gases. Methane emissions resulting from the decomposition of organic waste in landfills are a significant source of greenhouse gas emissions contributing to global climate change. Californians throw away nearly 6 million tons of food scraps and food waste each year. This represents about 18% of all the material that goes to landfill. CalRecycle mandated each jurisdiction to implement a program so California residents have the ability to recycle their green, organic, and food waste. Tonight, staff presented to you Option B is the best program for residents. Option B proposal is a 3-container collection program with a 93-gallon organic container that accepts yard, food waste, and paper waste, a 96-gallon recycling container, and a 96-gallon trash container. The trash container would be serviced weekly, and the organic and recycling containers would be serviced bi-weekly. This option does not have the best interests of the residents. My next thing was going to say, during the summer, can you imagine how the temperatures would be? But Caitlin just showed you how bad it's going to be when we have temperatures 110 and all our food is sitting there and festering. As a resident, Option B is going to discourage me from recycling my food waste. I urge council members to vote against Option B and ask staff to present you with better options. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Fidelis Guines.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is Fidelis Guines. I live at 3313 Princeville Court in Modesto and has been a resident of the city for 34 years. I am here to speak about item 11 of the agenda, which is approving the annual adjustments to the maximum rates for refuse collection. I'm asking the council to reconsider staff's recommendation for the implementation of the SB 1383 collection program, Option B. But to speak of the different options that were presented to you, Option A was a 2-cart system that is currently being used by the City of Modesto. This is also a system being used by the other cities within Stanislaus County, who are also being mandated by the state to comply with 1383. Option B's biweekly pickup of green waste and alternating it with recycling shows you what it could be for all over the city if we keep the organic waste for 2 weeks. Today's recommendation also is based on the Finance Committee's approval of Option B, which is part of a result of a 3-day survey, which was sent out with pricing information. We all know that when we are presented with financial information, most people will choose the lowest possible price presented to them without knowing the ramifications of their choice. I am not an expert, but I did a little bit of research, and as Caitlin also said, I looked at the number of residents that responded to the survey. We have 214,400 residents in Modesto. The city received 843 surveys back. That represents 0.39% of the population. There were 9 businesses who submitted their surveys back, where the Chamber of Commerce listed 802 businesses. And we know for a fact that not all the businesses are members of the chamber. That represents 1% of the population. Multifamily dwellings in Modesto, we have 20,412, and only 20 of them return their survey back. That represents 0.09 of the multifamily dwellings. The city prides itself in taking care of the extensive urban forest. What will happen to all of our parks or the city streets or our homes where we have our own trees to take care of? Yes, city trees, but come fall and winter when we need these containers and it's not there, what happens? In the summer, we know what will happen. I would like to inform you also that my friends and I, in the few hours of this past 3 days since the agenda item was posted, we were able to collect more than 100 signatures in support of our cause today. I ask that the council reconsider this particular proposal of this new system that the city is, or the staff members are requesting. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Online, we have Bianca Lopez.
Thank you. Good evening again. SB 1383 was passed in 2016, and many cities, including Modesto, did not plan ahead to be prepared or better prepared to properly implement these mandates. The law stated that 2021 was the year to start compliance, but it is good to know now and to see that you are moving forward with a plan. I too, I'm a co-founder of Valley Improvement Projects for Social and Environmental Justice. Waste management is one of our issues, and actually anti-incineration is what we promote. We are not in agreement that the city and the county help Covanta burn over 800 tons of waste every day and pollute our air when we burn things that are recyclable and compostable. So I am grateful for SB 1383, and I'm grateful to see that you guys are moving forward. But I too am concerned about what was recommended here. If we're properly sorting our waste, then the green and the blue bin, which is the recycling and composting bins, should be more full than our black bin, and less waste would be sent to burn at Covanta to further pollute our low-income communities of color. I agree with the folks here in person. I agree that the city did poorly on executing the survey. If we truly wanted community input, as the lady said, we must do better. Earlier today, even during public comments, a gentleman spoke about how the city does not respond to calls or requests for information. I sent an email earlier today because it had been weeks, maybe even a month, before I got information about blight. It is really unfortunate that that is the case. I agree that community education and outreach is a big part of compliance, but we also need to address source reduction. And just by what we have already shown, you're not doing very good at community education. So that is very concerning. We must go beyond what the law requires us to comply with. I encourage you to implement policies and to support and incentivize businesses to reduce waste that is not recyclable, like single-use plastic, for example. And according to Cal Recycle, the approved target per capita disposal rate for the city of Modesto is 5 pounds per person per day and 15 pounds per employee per day. And Modesto well exceeds those limits. I want to thank Vicki Rice for her efforts, for her focus on waste reduction on Earth Day. We need to implement an ordinance to extend these environmentally friendly practices to all events. We encourage you to do better to move beyond recovery and build a path to zero waste and stop waste incineration, and to do better with community outreach. We look forward to saying goodbye to Covanta in 2027. I invite community members who are concerned here today about SB 1383 to join our Zero Waste Task Force, to come together to learn about best practices and come up with better solutions to current practices as it relates to waste management in our community, and advocate to our representatives what we know will work better for us. Please contact me at valleyimprovementprojects@gmail.com. Once again, my name is Bianca, and I am for social and environmental justice. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, are there any other members of the public that would like to speak? Sure, step forward.
Hello, my name is Gene Jilton. I'm with Jilton Solid Waste, one of the waste haulers in Modesto. And I would like to address a couple of the concerns that the council had about plastic bags going into the green waste can. The answer is no. No, you cannot put plastic bags in the green waste can. No, you cannot differentiate the difference between a biodegradable plastic bag and a non-biodegradable plastic bag. The only differentiating marking is a tiny little logo that is often used incorrectly. is a BPI logo, and without this logo on it, it cannot be broken down in the compost process. So, but again, that logo is used wrong all the time and mislabeled, hence some of the new laws and legislation coming down to inhibit people from using those logos. And so, yes, so if we are to be doing a bi-weekly plan on the organics, as she showed with her demonstration here, that will be happening with everybody's cans. 2 weeks is already halfway through the composting process, so you guys will be giving us material. We will be picking up material that has already started and has completed phase 1 of the process of composting. So thank you for that. Doing less work for us. We don't have to compost it as long. But the problem is I don't think everybody wants to have a compost bin sitting in their yard every day. It smells, the flies, the maggots. I don't know if you guys could see that container very well, but it's filled with maggots. I've grown up in garbage my entire life, and maggots are disgusting. Garbage is disgusting. Food waste is disgusting. And so we try to get rid of it and manage it the best way we can. And so I just plead with you guys to please reconsider the recommendation of the staff and go to a different system where we will not have this public nuisance. Thank you.
You're welcome. Online, we have Emerson Drake.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. As I recall, when this went to committee, staff actually was concerned or surprised by the results of what they heard from the community. And they made a point of saying, especially about the way the trash will, let's just call it melt, and the disease potential. But as I recall, the council members chose to go ahead with their best thoughts, their knowledge, put your best foot forward, and voted, this is what we're going to look at. I think I have to agree with everybody else that somebody didn't take care of business on this one. It wasn't done right. We need to reconsider several different items. I thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Are there any other members of the public?
Thank you, Loretta Carp. Well, tonight has been great for every darn bit of it, because they all, in a way, go to where lots of people in the city of Modesto knows about it. Those cars and everything else was great, but on this garbage thing, we've really got a bad one also with that. And I don't know if it goes in with what you guys are speaking about, but too many people are coming down through here, going through the garbage cans, excuse me, taking things out, dumping the cans all over the place, not just residential, but also city dump pieces. The other day I walked down one of the alleys, and a guy, I don't know how they did it, but had taken it and thrown it all onto the ground. I went up to that business, told them about it, and they couldn't halfway believe it, the way people are doing. Prices are getting ridiculous, but we need someone also checking all that stuff. And I don't know if there's anyone here in the city that can, but some way or another, we need to even stop these people from taking things out of the garbage cans, and there needs to be something that can keep people from doing it. If there's not, please do something about it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public regarding this item, item 12? Seeing no one in person or online, I will close the public comments period. And now I will ask council for comments.
I have a comment.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Thank you. So, Bill, my question, I think the speakers are asking for the organics be picked up on a weekly basis instead of a biweekly. So can you address that, why we're not going down that route?
So the number one, of course, we got the survey, the 872. That is still a substantial amount. That 75 preferred this option. Number two, we're making this as a pilot project. There are municipalities that these cans are being picked bi-weekly basis. So if there is an issue, council will have opportunity to go to weekly. The cost is additional $3 per resident per month.
How much?
$3.
$3 more?
Per resident,
if
per resident per month. That's, I think it's $2.99.
If we did 2 cans weekly?
If we get organic can, which is green can, picked weekly also. So organic and black picked weekly. Extra is $3, about $3 per month per household.
So would there be a problem if we picked the black can up bi-weekly and pick up the organic weekly?
We don't recommend that at this point.
Okay.
And so council will have opportunity to test this for a few months or a year. If there, we will collect the data. Our council can choose option with the weekly green can also. But we're saying there are municipalities that pick green cans bi-weekly, and that functions just fine.
Okay, and go ahead.
So that's why our recommendation is make it as a pilot project for a few months. We're saying about at least give it a year and collect the data. If there are issues, then you can always go to weekly for extra costs.
Okay, and can you address the issue of the other cities that are just doing 2 cans?
The other cities, some of them are doing the 2 cans. Some of them has high diversion facilities that will sort all the materials. That is 75% organics. And we looked at the cost for some these facilities for city of our side could be $100 million. We looked at the feasibility studies that shows, and that's one part of it. Cost is just one part of that. Second part of it is this facility needs to exist today because this mandate went into effect in January 1st, 2022. If we start planning that facility and building next 5 to 10 years, 100-year facility, $100 million facility, we will not be complying. We will not be complying with SB 1383. Even if you build the facility, and then you still will have to report to the, provide the data to the state that we're complying with this 75% diversion. So that is, we don't recommend that option. Number one, initial investment is huge. Number two, there are no plans. We confirmed with the state. They have not received any plans from any haulers to build any facilities, any of such high diversion facilities. So that option, if the facility needed to exist today to comply with this mandate. So 3-can system at least complies us with the mandate.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
So to be clear here, this pilot program is how long?
For a year.
Okay, so it's a year. I think the other thing that I just want to comment on is it is frustrating that we have a hard time collecting surveys. I think this isn't the first time I've heard this comment from the public. I mean, when we look at, we had the same problem with the water rate situation when we were trying to get feedback on that. We had the same problem with publicizing the turf replacement program. I just think that this is a consistent issue that we've had, and I've tried to give feedback to the city on dealing with it, and I'm going to continue to do that, but we've got to do better. That's it.
All right. Any other comments from council members?
I do have a comment. This is just, this legislation is just a tough one. It's unfunded, it's smelly. But it's just a no-win situation. I think staff has done an omen job at really trying to uncover efficiencies and ways to make it work, because we have no choice. It has to happen. And it's not perfect, and I didn't think at any point 100% of the community would be happy, but I think one thing we did do is we afforded the community from the very beginning an opportunity to come to public safety meetings, finance committee meetings, and multiple forums to express just their perspective on this matter. And all of that was taken into consideration, and I think staff just did the best that they could do with the resources they had to come to this solution. We're not thinking that it's perfect, but like Bill said, we do have that 1 year to see how we can improve upon it. It's scary to see what's going to happen in our cans those 2 weeks. I know a lot of my neighbors already implement some interesting strategies to minimize, if not eliminate, odor, and it's interesting what they do. One freezes her compost material. That's interesting. Another one puts it in a box. She says that eliminates the odor. I don't know. Everyone finds their little ways to make it work, but I'm hopeful that this 1 year will give us the data that we need to, at the end of that, make it right for the majority of the people in Modesto. So thank you for doing all the work you've done.
Thank you, Council Member. Just one point of clarification. There was comment that we only use social media for survey. No, that is not correct. We have about 69,000 residential and business customers. And there was the bill insert was sent to all of those, a hard copy was inserted, a handout sent to all of those bills. And also farmers market, and we reached out, we tried everything, not only the social media, that is correct, sometimes not everybody has the social media, but we tried both ways to reach out to all 69,000 account holders.
All right, Vice Mayor Wright?
Yeah, follow-up
Another
questions.
comment?
So we're talking about 1 year. However, if there is a problem 3 months from now, can we come back and say we want to look at doing 2 can pickup weekly?
So one thing, there won't be a problem 3 months from now, because this will go into effect in January next year. So we will collect data for 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
We will keep collecting the data. And, if we see the first month or two, implementation is going to be always. Right. I don't recommend first 2-3 months, because implementation, when you're going from 2 cans to 3 cans, there'll be a lot of complaints. There'll be a lot of confusion. So I would say at least take 3 months data after that and share it with the council.
Thank you.
All right, I'll just make a brief comment before I before I read the item again, the resolutions, and then call for a motion. I appreciate everyone being here tonight to share their thoughts about this, and I appreciate the work that our staff has done consistently for the year that I have been here to certainly inform us in every way possible, every step of the way, communicating with the community. I really, truly appreciate your efforts, and I want to express that publicly tonight to both of you. Little side note, my father-in-law is going to be 95 years old, and he has had a compost pile container, wooden container, in his backyard for 50 years that I've known the family. Our community has always been mindful of the environment and the importance of recycling. We were one of the first counties, I remember, in the early 70s to embrace the notion, and I've honestly had more people reach out to me and say, when are we going to start doing more? They're interested in it. So I'm excited for this going forward. I think it'll be really great to have a pilot program for a year and do some really good research and evaluation and data, and look forward to that. So I will be supporting this item. I wanted to make that during this comment time. So at this time, I will read the item and ask for a motion when I'm done. This is a resolution approving the annual rate adjustment to the maximum rate schedule for city solid waste collection services provided by the garbage haulers and by R3 consultants for an increase of $8.40 per month. For residential services, an increase of $9.95 per cubic yard for commercial services, and an increase of $8.05 per pole for industrial services to become effective July 1st, 2022, and an increase of $5.40 per month for residential services, an increase of $25 per organics and/or recycling cart collected once a week for commercial services to become effective January 1st, 2023, and rescinding resolution number 2021-217 for the July 1st, 2022 and the January 1st, 2023 rate adjustment. Another resolution approving a quarterly fuel rate adjustment to the maximum rate schedule for city solid waste collection services provided by the haulers for an increase of 33 cents per month for residential services and an increase of 47 cents per cubic yard for commercial services to become effective July 1st, 2022, and rescinding resolution number 2021-217 for the July 1st, 2021 annual rate adjustment. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to move those two items forward.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, will the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer.
You're on mute, Jenny.
Councilmember Canoyer. Circle back. Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton.
Aye.
Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Councilmember Canoyer, are you there? All right, so it carries 5-0. 5-0.
With one, and we'll note Councilmember Canoyer is absent. And she
Okay.
may have stepped away from the.
All right, with Councilmember Canoyer absent. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is new business. This is item 12. Consider approving a resolution authorizing the City of Modesto to utilize the services of David Savage on an interim basis to fulfill the duties of wastewater division manager for a limited duration of up to 6 months or until the recruitment is completed, whichever is first. And we welcome Christina Alger, HR.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Christina Alger, Director of HR. And this item is requesting a resolution to rehire a retired annuitant. Mr. Savage did work for us for 20-plus years and retired some time ago. We have a position called a wastewater division manager. We, HR and utilities partnered together to do a recruitment per our normal recruitment policy. We were unsuccessful in gaining good applicants for the recruitment. And so we're requesting to bring this retired annuitant back for a limited period of time to allow us to re-recruit using an executive recruiter or an outside recruitment firm to hopefully fill that spot. And so the request tonight is a resolution approving us to move forward with bringing Mr. Savage aboard. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for this report. Does council have any questions? Seeing none, I will open this up to the public. If any members of the public would like to speak on item 12. Oh, all right. Emerson Drake. I see your hand up, Emerson Drake.
There, I got the unmute. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
I've just got a couple concerns here. It's my understanding that we I don't want to say overlooked, but we decided that a couple of the internal candidates were qualified. I was really kind of curious how close we looked at them. I understand there's some concerns there. Also, this gentleman's coming back. I'm just not real sure that we're making a full-fledged effort to go find somebody else. Looks like we're just trying to line him back up so we can rehire him again. We just have to jump through some hoops so he gets plugged back in. But I just think, you know, it looks like we're being deceived that there was actually some real recruitment. It's a concern. I think it's an honest concern. I thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public that would like to comment on item 12? Seeing none, I'll close public comments. Are there any council members that would like to make comments on this item? Seeing none,
Move to approve.
I will read the resolution. This is a resolution authorizing the City of Modesto to utilize the services of David Savage on an interim basis to fulfill the duties of wastewater division manager for a limited duration up to 6 months or until the recruitment is completed, whichever is first, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to take the necessary steps to implement the provisions of this action. And we have a motion by Councilmember Ricky. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer. Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, so it carries 5-0 with Councilmember Canoyer absent. All right, on to item 13. Consider adopting a finding of conformance for the J.M. Pike Park stormwater to sanitary sewer cross-connection removal and water main project. Approving a grant agreement in the amount of $10 million with the California State Water Resources Control Board. Approving a consultant agreement with Woodard and Curran Incorporated, Sacramento, California, for engineering design services in the amount of $1,914,421 for the identified scope of services plus $191,443 in additional services if needed for a total amount not to exceed $2,105,864 and amending the fiscal year 2022-23 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $9,101,535. And we will have a staff report, and thank you for being here and staying with us.
Yes, well, couldn't make it. Robert Davalos, acting Engineering Division Manager, the Utilities Department. I'm here today with Christian Chitao. He's the Senior Civil Engineer over our Wastewater and Storm Drain Group. We'll be giving you a report or a presentation on the grant agreement for the J.M. Pike Park Stormwater to Sanitary Sewer Cross-Connection Removal and Water Main Project. Here's Christian.
Welcome.
Madam Mayor, Council members, City Manager, good evening. My name is Christian Chotau. I'm Senior Civil Engineer in Wastewater and Storm with the Utilities Department. I will be presenting the last item on the agenda. I'll lift it up. Okay. Which one? Okay. So grant agreement for J.M. Pike Park Stormwater to Sanitary Sewer Cross-Connection Removal and Water Main Project. A little bit on the background. The cross-connection removal identified as one of the highest priority projects in the wastewater master plan. Eliminating cross-connection minimizes surcharging and overflows in the sanitary sewer system, also diverts the storm runoff from the sanitary sewer mains into retention basins and helping recharging the groundwater. J.M. Pike Park is the third grant-funded cross-connecting removal project, Garrison Park being the first one and the Roosevelt Park being the second one. On April 6, 2021, by the resolution number 2021-119, the Council authorized entering into a funding agreement with the State Water Resources Control Board. The Pike Park neighborhood includes undersized 4-inch and 6-inch old water mains out of steel and cast iron. Those areas are very susceptible to leaks and low pressure, and they were identified in the water master plan as need to be replaced. The next slide, we can see the project areas. The blue areas indicates the areas where the runoff water will be directed gravity flow through the storm lines pipes into the Pike Park located at 1601 Princeton Avenue. The yellow dots are the cross connection that will be removed, around 9 of them, and the red dots represents the non-functional dry wells that will be also removed. I think we have around 28 of them. This next slide represents the portion of the water portion of this project. It's around the Pike Park neighborhood. We'll be replacing those previous mentioned 4-inch and 6 inches old steel and cast iron lines with new 8-inch and 12-inch main water lines, as well as some water services. So the project will remove around 28 non-functionally dry wells, 9 stormwater to sanitary sewer connections. We'll install over 10,500 linear feet of stormwater pipe and catch basins, new underground stormwater chambers to allow the stormwater to percolate into the ground. We'll install a pre-treatment device to filter the stormwater before it gets into those chambers. Over 17,200 linear feet of 8-inch water mains and over 5,600 linear feet of 12-inch water main will be installed. Upgrades will be some landscaping in the park, irrigation improvements to James Park as well, fire hydrants, and around 222 residential water services. As far as the funding, the project, the State Water Resources Control Board, SWRCB, approved a $10 million in funding from the State Stormwater Grant Programs Proposition 1, this is the round 2, for the James Park Stormwater to Sanitary Sewer Cross Connection Removal Project. The funds for the water portion of the money will come from the Water Fund. In this next slide, we have the anticipated project costs. First column, it shows $18,806,098. That includes the construction contingency, also the construction administration during construction provided by the city staff and by our consultant, as well the EDA, engineering design, admin support. And the water portion will be around $6,331,042. So the staff recommends the following items. Adopt finding of conformance to what wastewater system environmental impact report, that the following project is within the scope of the project covered by the EIR, approving a grant agreement with the California Department of Water Resources Control Board to receive the Proposition 1, Round 2, stormwater grant for the James Pike Park, stormwater to sanitary sewer cross-connection removal, authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute all grant-related documents and enter into an agreement to receive the grant funds. If awarded, and authorizing the Director of Finance to be the signatory of the grant invoice formed during requests for reimbursements. Approving an agreement with Woodard and Curran from Sacramento, California for the engineering design services for the James Pikes Park stormwater for an amount of $1,914,421 plus a 10% contingency of $191,442 if needed in additional services. for a total not to exceed of $2,105,863. And amending the fiscal year 22-23 capital improvement program budget in amount of $9,101,535 to be transferred from the wastewater and water funds to fully fund the project. With this, if there are any questions?
All right. Thank you very much for that report. Does council have any questions of staff? All right, seeing no questions, I'll open to the public. Any comments or questions from the public? I see Emerson Drake.
Just out of curiosity, what is this going to cost the average Modesto citizen or the average homeowner, renter, whatever, that pays for this? How much a month will it cost us? Thank you very much for your time.
All right, I don't know if someone can address that, what the...
Yeah, we can take a look at that total. If you look at the overall summary of the costs that were provided, that $10 million is going to hit the wastewater. It's only hitting the wastewater fund. So that difference of around $8 million will come from the actual wastewater fund, and then the other portion will come from the water fund in terms of just water, right? So so what we can do is we'll take a look at those differences and then provide that to council.
Thank you.
Citizens' concern.
All right, any other comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll close public comments. Any council comments?
Yeah, I do. So those funds are already set aside, correct? So they're in reserve for this type of projects.
They are in reserve, that's correct.
Okay,
That is correct.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any increases in water rates or sewer rates because of this project?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
I just wanted a clarification
That's
of
correct,
that.
yeah. That's why I was kind of like, there's no direct increase per se.
So this is something we've planned ahead for years, we knowing that we have pipes that need to be replaced every so many years, and we're...
That's correct. That's in our master plan.
That's accurate, as Chris mentioned. For both master plans, the wastewater and water master plans identify improvements to both areas. So the water area, in terms of the undersized pipes that are leaking and prone to leaks, basically, we have low pressures, and so upsizing that's going to increase pressures. And then obviously the cross connections where we're getting the localized flooding, and then that water is going back into our sewer systems and increasing the flows in the sewer. So the master plans have identified those improvements. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.
One brief comment. This is a big project, and I really appreciate everyone's work on it. Greatly appreciate that. All right, the item has been read beautifully. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Wright.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer? Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Escutia-Brayton?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, so it carries 5-0 with Councilmember Canoyer absent. Thank you very much
Thank
for your
you so much.
presentation.
Thank you.
Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I'm calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.